Assalamu alaikum gbogbo Èkó. Ṣẹ́díra
Yeah, you are welcome to yet another exciting edition of the Reform podcast. We are thankful to everyone who has subscribed to our YouTube page, the Reform Podcast YouTube page. This is the sophomore edition. And in our midst, we have the Deputy Chief of Staff to the Chairman of Lagos Island East LCDA, the person of the Honorable Adekunle Bashorun, also known as the City Father. You're welcome to our midst.
Thank you for having me.
So, sequel to our conversation in our maiden edition or maiden episode as 12, we observed that there is no leader that can function optimally without followers, and there is no top government official who can deliver diligently, or especially with this kind of delivery that our mayor has been churning out, without capable disciples. So one of the people who has been behind the exemplary performances of our mayor is the Deputy Chief of Staff, who is in our midst today. We would like to know how it has been, how the journey has been from the politicking to governance to what is coming. So on this podcast, as always, or as usual, I have my people here, my co-presenters, in person of
Honorable Adekunle.
Comrade Lion Ali.
So now, within the next couple of minutes, we are going to be joining with our Deputy Chief of Staff. You're welcome once again, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, I understand that you've been with the mayor for, even before he became the mayor, the political, the politicking and everything. How is it working with him directly?
Well, first of all, I must thank those who are behind this initiative in projecting the work and achievements of our amiable Mayor Muibi Alade Folawiyo. I must commend you all for this bold initiative. So, my mayor, my mentor at this moment, Honorable Muibi Alade, I've known him politically and working together more than 15 years now. In 2008 to 2011, when I was elected as a councillor for this local council, for my first term, Honorable Muibi Alade Folawiyo was serving the second time then. I began my own first term. He was a majority leader then. And in the course of his performance or his duties as a majority leader, he was able to hold the legislative arm together. That is why at that time we call him Mr. Fix-It, because he is the link between the legislative arm and the executive, and we were able to run that administration without any form of rancor between the legislative arm and the executive arm, which are major incidences in other places, in other climes or in other local governments. But there was this cordial relationship between the legislative arm and the executive arm then, due to the experience and the tactical approach Honorable Muibi was able to use to navigate the relationship between the executive and legislative arm. So he is the type, he has gone through the whole process of local government administration, both the legislature and the executive arm, and he knows his onions, so he can fix it. So that was the first time I had the experience of working with him.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
More so, is a I observed that he's not somebody who goes solo in his political life. I saw this from his decisions to appoint so many people. So over time, do you reckon that he's been compiling the list of the people he wants to work with, or when he got there, he just saw, okay, this person is good? Is he that kind of person that plans long term, or he just makes spontaneous decision at the momentarily?
Well, another side of him is that he's a silent observer. He monitors his surroundings silently while looking for attributes and where he can use those attributes that you possess personally to advance the cause of the local government. So he observes and is a very good team player. He listens. At times he will pretend that he does not observe or listen, but silently he's observing the surroundings, and this will form part of his decisions. So that's why he has been able to navigate in this local government all spheres of human endeavors, be it human development, education, health. He has got across. So he's a team player. Most people don't know. He listens to people and he accepts the consensus decision, that is majority decision, and he implements it.
So can I also come in here? So as one-time legislator and also the executive chairman of Lagos Island, we already know that he has this antecedent of having an experience in both arm of government, and we've seen over the last few months that he has tried as much as possible to implement some bylaws, which is unusual in some of the local government that we have in Lagos and in Nigeria in general. So those bylaws, how do you see them, or what is the implementation yardstick, or what is the result of those bylaws that we have?
The bylaws, yes, the legislative arm, since the local council has been in existence, has been making bylaws, several bylaws. But when he came in as the executive chairman this time around, based on his experience as a former legislator, he was able to galvanize our legislative arm to dust off our old bylaws, work on it, and make them in alignment with modern tendencies. Because some of the bylaws have been there for years, and the punishments or the stipulations or those things contained there are to be dusted up and make them in tandem with modern realities, like fines for offenses, because in the old one you find fines for offenses as low as 10 naira. So, and when the bylaw was dusted up and we have a new bylaw, it was all stakeholders were called, including the law enforcement officers, because we cannot enforce our bylaws by ourselves. So those law enforcement officers were there. It was a stakeholders forum where the new bylaws were signed by the executive chairman as promulgated or as passed by the legislative arm. And the law enforcers knows the stipulation, also the citizenry that the law will affect knows what it contains. So it was given publicity.
Public awareness. So thank you so much for that.
Sir, do you think since he has come to office, he has been able to change the face of governance in Lagos Island East LCDA so far?
Honorable Muibi Alade Folawiyo, doctor, I can say categorically without missing it that Honorable Muibi Alade Folawiyo performance in this present administration when he became the local government chairman is not in doubt. His ubiquitous presence has been felt all around the stratas of local government administration. It got to a time, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, I said, my chairman, all these infrastructures, education, health, when we are re-elected back for a second term, what are we going to do in our second term?
Okay.
You have done all of this in your 3 years. He said, you ain't seen nothing yet. That was his word. He said, there are so many other things to be done in our second term. So it's not as if he is doing all this in his first time. You know, there is this general perception among the people that once an elected official is elected for his first term and performed wonderfully well, when he is re-elected again for a second term, things slow down. But this is not in the case of Honorable Muibi Alade. He said, I repeat, we ain't seen nothing yet. That a second term, once we resume, work starts, that there are so many things that has to be done in our second term. So that's the type of man he is.
So thank you so much for that input. We have also studied Honorable Muibi Alade Folawiyo. We've seen in the past that we've seen 7-point agenda, 6-point agenda, 5-point agenda, and all of that. So what will you say is the thematic area or the focus area of this administration? We've seen him doing the market, we've seen him on economic empowerment, on infrastructural development, on youth empowerment, and all of that. What will you say in particular? Because as a political scientist, there are tangible goods and the intangible goods that we consider as a yardstick for us to evaluate political governance. So what will you say is the focus of this administration?
Well, if I can take it from where you stopped, I think he wants to touch everybody in local government. But I can say categorically here that his main focus has been on good quality education for indigent pupils in the local government. Then secondly, health, then infrastructure. Those are the 3 key agendas that the administration is focusing on. Why not leaving behind the environment? Because he works on the environment. I tell you, he knows everything about the secondary and primary drains in the local government. If he begins to relate out that if you connect this drainage from Itafaji to the other one in Apatira, in that culvert, you will see this, you will see that. Once you throw that culvert, the water will flow. So he knows the environment. So aside from touching on health, education, and infrastructures, other spheres of administration are not lacking behind.
So also, we have the exclusive list, we have the concurrent list, and we have the residual list, which are different focus. We have the federal concern, the state and the local government concern, then we have the local government concern. On the concurrent list now, we have some of the primary school, which is under the jurisdiction of both the state government and the local government. And we've seen Honorable Muibi Alade Folawiyo doing so well in terms of the primary school that we have in Lagos Island, that's Lagos Island East Montessori School. But we've not seen a lot that he has been doing when it comes to other public primary school in Lagos Island. So what will you say about that?
Thank you so much for that. In our local council, as you said, we have public primary schools. Even in our local council, we have 21 public primary schools under our local council. And the administration or the care for that local government is shared between the state and the local government. But we as a government too, we've been trying to assist those primary schools to bring them up to the standard of our Montessori and private schools, which is the major, because all parents now in our local government want their children to be in those Montessori schools.
Yes.
They are competing at a higher level with those private primary schools. And to buttress your question, so I discussed with the SA, I pushed to the idea to him that those are public primary schools, all the 21. They also have Montessori nursery now in that. Can we even start? Can you suggest to the chairman and your HOD that can we start by adopting those nursery schools and the Montessori in all the 21 primary schools and bring their standard up to those which we have in our two Montessori schools. So it will lessen the rush for admission
into the Montessori school.
So those ones that we adopt in the public primary schools, what we are doing for our own Montessori schools, like free food, free uniforms, free books, free bags, free writing materials, we will also do same for those nurseries in the 21 public. Even if we start with that, then later on, because all this issue is about funds, availability of funds. So in future, we can move up to primary one additionally. But, and they said a very good idea and it will be a bold initiative that he likes it, he will discuss. So we can't rule it out because I know the chairman we have. If he embrace the idea and look left and right for availability of funds and he says that it is doable, he will definitely do it.
So that means it's possible for those in those public schools still benefit
what those in our Montessori primary schools are benefiting. So it will spread and lessen the rush.
Wow.
I see the chairman as somebody who has got so much up his sleeves, and he doesn't see a lot as being enough. He's always willing to do more. But then there is another thing about him. He's a workaholic. So now this question is directly for you. How do you keep up with this energy? Because you are the deputy chief of staff. Oh my God, inside go like.
I must confess, it's not easy. It's not easy. At the beginning, we all thought at this stage you will slow down. But instead of slowing down, he's moving faster. He has challenged every one of us that is working with him to roll up our sleeves.
Wow.
Because he does not, if he gives you an assignment, he wants you to perform. And my chairman is someone that does not easily give compliment to someone when he gives you an assignment. It's not as if he's doing it for a negative purpose. He sees it,
just for you to,
but he just wants you. He's watching
energy to keep
he wants you to keep that energy running. So if he gives you an assignment and he gets there, his first observation is to check the negative sides before checking the
positive side,
what you have done well. So we now hammer on those, you've not done this, you've not done that. So we always challenge, and it keeps every one of us on our toes. So and it does not get tired.
Wow.
If you are somebody that is lazy or does not like working, you cannot work with
Wow.
Peperito of Lagos Island.
Wow.
You have to be there, and he knows that you are working, but it takes time before he gives credit for a job well done.
But sir, with all this, all said and done, does it speak that 2025, right? Are we saying, or are you saying, or are you telling us that nobody's going to come out competing with the chairman in the next election? Like, does it look like that?
It doesn't look so.
Okay.
This is democracy.
Okay.
You cannot stop anyone
Okay.
from
Even with all
from
that he has
aspiring.
done so far.
Yes.
Wow.
You cannot stop anyone from their aspirations. You know, aspiration is a personal decision.
Yes.
Even if you see someone performing, you say, okay, let me test my luck.
Because we haven't seen
But,
me walking around. I haven't
most of
seen
them,
banners.
most of them,
Pepper here and there. And
if you see anyone that is
interested,
interested in contesting, it's not as if he's contesting against Pepe or for the next election.
Okay.
He's doing a publicity stunt
for
for people to know that after Pepe's second term, at least you've seen my poster. You should remember my face when I come back next time. So you know we are all political animals. We must ventilate our political aspirations.
What's the funniest thing you have heard about this administration from critics?
Because there must be critics.
I have one to tell you. Should I go ahead?
Okay, go ahead.
I met somebody one day.
Okay.
He was not telling me that Pepe has really tried the what? It's just doing the basics. It's just doing the basics. What has he done that other people haven't done? In that same vein, he was not telling me that, but that program of community market, that program is laudable. I can commend him for that one alone. I was just looking at that person that you want to criticize someone,
And at the same time,
you're also hating him. So what's the funniest?
Sir, before you
criticism
answer
right?
him, I want to say something to protest what he said. I've also met someone that said, fine, Pepe is not doing big deal. It is our right that is doing to us. Wa ló ná iṣẹ́ wa ni iṣẹ́ tá yàn síbẹ̀ fún so kò sí big deal kankan nínú nǹkan tó ń ṣe.
Somebody was saying giving kudos to a performing elected official like Pepe is like saying thank you to an ATM machine.
Yeah,
gives you your money.
And I told that person that you won't appreciate an ATM that dispenses until
you
meet one that doesn't dispense.
And you need money.
And it debited you.
I also try to comment. My own point will be more or less like a political scientist or a political analyst. And my question will be based on youth empowerment. And looking at the youth space and being part of the youth space, we've seen some of the things that the chairman is doing to galvanize the youth, to bring everybody together. We used to have factional youth bodies, factional youth leadership, and all of that. And during the administration, we've been able to have the National Youth Council in place.
I was part of that meeting.
Yes, I know you were part of that meeting. So we've seen him also appointing some of the youth also in his administration. But the feelers we are also getting from the youth space is that we still need Honorable Muibi Alade Folawiyo to also do more when it comes to youth empowerment and when it comes to youth and leadership. So what do you see to that, sir?
Well, as Oliver Twist, youth will always ask for more.
Yes.
And this administration will continue to do its best to accommodate youths, most especially vibrant youths that we have in our local council. And we have so many of them. And among them, you are one. I know your antecedents. I know. I always marvel when I see you speak in public and when you articulate. My brother here, we call him Enigma. I don't know how he got that appellation of Enigma. He's also a vibrant youth, and so others like that. Females also, we have vibrant female. So we will do more as an administration to accommodate our youths, because youths are the future of the local council, and we need to start galvanizing them, most especially to get their interest in administration at the local level, because it is by so doing that we can enhance their potentials and also enhancing the potentials of the local council for development. So we will try our best to accommodate youths in future also.
Okay.
Then, as per to their question, there is nothing you will do. You must have critics.
Okay.
If you don't have critics, then you will not be challenged.
Okay.
At times, not all criticism are negative. There are positive criticism also, that you can take one or two things out of it and implement. That community marketing, can say, is one of the best things that has happened to our local council, because tí oúnjẹ bá ti kúrò nínú ìṣẹ́ kù bíntín. Though we still want to do more, because every month, even before the issue of ebi power, things are hard in the market. Before that advent of that acronym, this administration has been doing it. We are on the 17th or 18th edition that will come up next month now. So it's a way of alleviating the pangs of hunger among our people when we subsidize food commodities for them to get at cheaper prices. The state itself sent their ministry to come and oversee how we do it. That's why they were able to come up with their own version of Onje.
Okay, that's true.
And if people say, what are we doing? We are doing what we've been elected to do. There is no need for people to sing our praises. They should not forget the fact that there have been administrations that have been elected that were not able to do up to the standard we are doing.
What this government?
Presently, our works department that handles road projects. In the past, our roads are done with asphalt, which with time fades off and you get potholes. But this administration has said that any road construction that will be done in Lagos Island East Local Council must be with interlocking stones. Not even ordinary
cement road also.
Yes, not even ordinary interlocking blocks. So HFP standard one that will stand the test of time. And this administration has resolved that all roads, including the inner streets, will be touched. With time, we will get there.
Wow.
So it is on record that this administration is the one that has performed most in terms of road construction in this locality. There are some roads that have been touched last during the regime of late Lateef Jakonde, that we've been there. Nothing has been done since then, but we've been on those roads. So there is no two ways about it. This is a person, a chairman that has learned from all the best that we have in the local government. He has worked with Adekunle Bashorun, late Adekunle. He understudied him. He has worked with our leader, RF Balogun, Lukman Ajose, Adiku. So he has worked with the best, including even Mr. Experience, Kamal Salau Bashua. So he has understudied everybody, and he was able to see, let me amend this, let me amend that. If I pull all this together, I will do my best. Yes.
So that's a great one. That's a great one. The last episode that we have, that was the first one. So we are trying to dissect and also analyze some of the things that Honorable Dr. Muibi Alade Folawiyo have done in the past 3.5 years, and we are unable to even conclude. When we got home and we go back to our notes, we've seen that there are some areas that we didn't even touch. And so
there are so many areas. Sorry for cutting you short. 2 years ago, we did our small scale business people artisan day. We did our artisan day where we were able to give over 100 industrial machines, not sewing machines, industrial machines. Each industrial machine costs nothing less than 270,000.
Wow.
And we gave out over 100,
Wow.
including for hairdressers and other artisans, cobblers, everybody. There was a program we had about 2 weeks ago at the city center here. A lady came across to me. He said, I've always been greeting you, you don't know me. I said, I don't know you. He said, I'm the person that you gave industrial machine to. I said, really? I said, I don't know. Because then, what the chairman did, he commissioned me to go onto the streets and look off randomly and look for tailors, peep into their shop and see what type of machines.
Okay.
If they don't have industrial machines, I go in there and take their name, their phone number and their address. They were asking, I said, they will get back to you. And from the local government. So this particular lady was among the person I got her name, which I didn't even know. I didn't even know she got the industrial machine. It was until after 2 years after when he said, I'm the person. So this is how we do our thing. This is our ticket for community marketing also. You will find the chairman on a motorbike going about in our streets, giving tickets out. But to some people, they feel we use politics to distribute those tickets.
Wow.
No, there are people, but it's not enough. There is no way it will go around. That in future, we will increase the numbers.
So we've seen also recently that some of our young people are also saying the world is going IT. And for Lagos Island local government, we know that the chairman is already doing a lot when it comes to vocational center and enhancing these facilities with some machines and all of that. So we have our computer center there where some of these young people learn Microsoft, Excel and all of that. But beyond that, we've seen that the influx of some other IT elements is now coming in. So whereby we have the full stack, we have the back end, the front end, and all of that, JavaScript and all of that. So the local government, are we looking at having more or less like ICT hub in Lagos Island, or is there a feeler? Do you feel anything like that the chairman is looking towards that direction?
Definitely yes. There is a committee which I am part of.
Okay.
From the private sector.
Okay.
They are trying to create a kind of hub, ICT, aside from ICT, hub for shoemakers, for these leather products. So we are still at the planning stage.
Okay.
But I know something about that will come in the future. Also, as regards to IT learning, we just donated a complete computer classroom to one of our primary schools, which is Christ Church Cathedral Primary School, and we tend to do so in other primary schools for our pupils to start learning computer appreciation. So there is a process towards that.
Okay, so thank you so much.
There was something we didn't touch on maiden episode. That was which is actually I would just want you to quickly touch on this before we call it a day. Revenue generation. Somebody called our attention to that we actually didn't mention revenue generation as one of his achievements. So quickly touch on that, sir.
For a fact, I must say this local council, if not the only one, will be among few local governments that does not wait until Jack comes in before it spends. There are some local government that without Jack, that is monthly allocation from the federal government, they cannot survive. But ours, I can boldly say that with our revenue generation, we can still survive. We have been surviving even if Jack comes late. So it's not as if Jack does not come, then governance stops.
Okay.
Our revenue generation in the past 3 years has improved tremendously, and I must give kudos to our revenue chairman and his deputy for a job well done. They have been able, and all the revenue officers in our various area offices have done tremendously well to move up our revenue, so we can boldly depend on our revenue for governance. Even our revenue can pay salaries and other emoluments of our staffs without waiting for Jack. So that shows you how buoyant the revenue of the local government has moved up.
Since he attained office.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. We will need you to give us an endorsement. Then the revenue officer is still coming to the show much later. We'll talk about financial literacy. We'll still have a whole lot for you guys viewers. So on that note, thank you so much, Honorable Adekunle Bashorun, the city father of our time. Thank you so much, sir.
So on a final note, I commend your team for doing a good job projecting, even without the local government financing you people. I understand this is a private initiative, self-financing, just to project our local government. And I can assure you, we as a local government, we appreciate what you are doing. Honorable Muibi Alade Folawiyo appreciates you. Like my mayor, who is not working alone in a second term, the majority of the people of this local council have decided to move with him. So he's not working alone. So I can assure you too, your team, you will not work alone, just like my Liverpool. You will never work alone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
This is City Father of Lagos Island East Local Council. I'm using this medium to give a shout out to you to Reform Podcast.
Campus ó ṣe tiẹ̀ ó péré dédé.